Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Adrian Mason. Once again, I am back, and I am here to talk about the rest of Week 8. That's right, it's Week 8 picks time. And of course, if you listen to my quick pick on Thursday, I picked the Panthers, so 7 out of 8 ain't bad as far as Thursday night picks. So let's get to it. Last week I was 8-7. I've been 8-7 for the last couple weeks. I'd like to actually get some better picks, get more picks right this time. Been in a bit of a lull. I think these bye weeks have just been jacking up, my win percentage as far as getting picks right. But I make the picks, so I got to live and die with them. I just hope for a better fortune this week and going forward for the rest of the season. This week we have 6 teams off this week. We have 6 teams out, so that's 3 less games. We have the Ravens, the Bears, the Texans, the Colts, the Chargers, and the Titans all taking the week off this week. So 13 games, 1 on Thursday, 11 today. And if you notice, it is a bit dark in here because I'm actually recording this at a little past midnight because got a little early activity that I'm going to be doing tomorrow. So I want to go ahead and get this recorded now and get it up on the blog so you can actually catch it without me having to do it at the last minute. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get to the rest of the picks. We start with a really good matchup. NFC-wise, we have the Dallas Cowboys, winners of 2 straight, and a game up on the NFC East, heading to Detroit to take on the Detroit Lions, coming off of a heartbreaking loss to the Cincinnati Bengals. This is a battle between two high-flying offenses. We have 2 QBs who can sling the rock, get yards in bunches, and Tony Romo and Matthew Stafford. Then, of course, the big thing, obviously, would be the matchup. Well, it's not really a matchup, but just it's kind of like a pitcher's duel, between Romo and Stafford. But the main thing is who's going to have the better performance between the 2 best receivers for each team, Dez Bryant or Megatron. Now, Dez Bryant made some headlines by saying that basically anything Megatron can do, he can do as well. And, if, in a sense, he's almost saying that anything you can do, I can do better. I can do anything better than you. So it's going to be real interesting to see if Megatron actually has the better game in Detroit or Dez Bryant actually basically puts his money where his mouth is. But, as much as I am a Dallas hater, I'm not going to sit here and say that Dez Bryant was throwing shade or throwing salt on Megatron. He's just saying that basically the things that he can do, he feels he can do as well. My thing is just go ahead and shut up and show it. You don't have to tell anybody. Just go out there and prove it. So it's going to be real interesting. Obviously, if you're a fantasy football owner and you got Megatron and Dez Bryant, you want to see both of them have big games. If you're playing against them, you really don't want them to, but it's going to happen. They're going to get their targets. They're going to get their catches. They're going to get a touchdown or 2. What it's really going to come down to is going to be contingent upon how Dallas responds to either having both DeMarcus Ware, DeMarco Murray out. DeMarcus Ware may actually play in this game tomorrow. DeMarco Murray still up in the air. And I'm also hearing some ramblings about Dallas already ready to move on from DeMarco Murray, feeling he's not going to be the franchise back that they thought he was going to be. And if you looked at DeMarco Murray's history in college and why he slipped as far as the 3rd round, the writing was already there. Dallas felt like they were going to get a steal from him, but, he's missed 10 games in 3 seasons. So, it's just inconsistency. Dallas has just been cursed with poor running back play since Emmett left, and it all started when they felt that Troy Hambrick wasn't the one. So they ditched him, picked up Julius Jones and Marion Barber. Felt like Julius Jones wasn't the one, so they stuck with Marion Barber, gave him a big contract. He fell off. They picked up Felix Jones. They felt like he was going to be the one. Felix fell off, and so now they picked up DeMarco Murray, and now they're feeling that he's not durable. He has games where he just looks like the back. Like, of course, both of his biggest games of his career have come against the Rams, but he had that glimpse of being the star running back. He'd catch passes out of the backfield, bruising runner. But the thing is, the biggest hazard to him is himself, is his health, is his durability. And Dallas feels they need an every down back, and every game every down back. So that's going to be something to look at going forward for the Cowboys this season. For the Lions, it's really about getting Reggie Bush on track. Now, of course, he sat out of practice, had his leg taped up or whatever, but I think that was just more precautionary measures. He will suit up and play in this game, so it's really contingent. I love saying that word, contingent, folks. CONTINGENT, contingent. It's contingent upon Reggie Bush getting uncorked, Matthew Stafford getting him dump-off passes, and when Reggie Bush at Detroit is the focal point of that offense, when he gets a lot of touches, good things happen for the Lions, and they need that to happen in this game, obviously against the Cowboys and that defense. My pick, obviously, well, not obviously, but it's going to be a back-and-forth contest. I mean, this game is going to be decided by less than 6 points, but I'm giving it to the Lions. The Lions are at home. They're coming off of a bad loss to the Bengals. They're a half game behind Green Bay in the NFC North, so they know they need this game more than anything. So they're going to come out with a little bit more fire. Dallas is riding a 2-game win streak. Obviously, they're playing their best football so far, but I think they're going to run into a Lions team that's just a little bit hungrier than they are. So I'm picking the Lions. Next up, we have the 49ers in the Jacksonville Jaguars entertaining the masses in London. This is the London series, the final London game of the season, and the 49ers are the visiting team, and the Jaguars are the home team. I'm not going to go any further in this. It's the Jags. We all know their story. We all know what's going on with them. The thing is that the Niners are looking at this game as a potential trap game. They know that they do not want to go into their bye next week with an ugly loss to a team that's winless. So look for them to be focused. Look for them to be sharp. I have the Niners in this. Duh. So I'm not even going to talk any more about that game. Next up, we have the Cleveland Browns traveling to Arrowhead to take on the only undefeated team in the NFL right now, the Kansas City Chiefs. The Kansas City Chiefs are 7-0. Like I said, they're the only undefeated team after Denver fell out of the ranks by losing to the Colts last Sunday night. And once again, the Chiefs are the beneficiaries of a backup QB coming to Arrowhead. Now, they already played the likes of Case Keenum, a third-string QB who got the start against the Houston Texans at home. So, and then there was, I'll just stick to that because, the Chiefs, hey, they play who they play. They play what's on the schedule. It's not up to them to say, hey, we want to play all their starters or the guys that were the incumbent starters coming into the season. It's not their fault. Chiefs are playing some great football. They have a very excellent defense. And, and of course, Alex Smith is looking like the Alex Smith of the 2011 first half of 2012 Alex Smith when he was a 49er. And, playing smart, efficient football, not turning the ball over, and Jamal Charles is having a big season. And once again, like I said, the Chiefs are at home. They have that defense. And you have the Cleveland Browns, who have basically said that they are done with the Brandon Weeden experience. They're done with the experiment. They realize that he is not a franchise QB. He is not a starting QB in the NFL. And if you look at his last 2 games, the one against Detroit, the other one against the Packers, he has made some terrible decisions in the most ridiculous what-the-fuck throws that I've ever seen in the history of the NFL. And we're talking the likes of Jamarcus Russell. We're talking the likes of Matt Leinart. We're talking the likes of, Mark Sanchez. I mean, geez. Why would you shovel past an out route? Why would you shovel past a deep out to that, to the sideline? Why would you underhand throw a ball? Whatever. Basically, Jason Campbell's getting to start this game against the Chiefs. They're already saying that. I mean, basically, this is their way of saying we can't trust. We can't trust you. We really don't see you as the future QB for this organization. They already traded Trent Richardson, so they have a first-round pick in addition to the one they already have been sitting on, as, of course, every NFL team gets a first-round pick. So now they've got the Colts' first-round pick, and they have their own. You best believe that the Chiefs are picking, or excuse me, not the Chiefs, the Browns. You best believe the Browns are picking a QB coming out in the 2014 draft. And of course, they have the luxury of picking a great QB, a great potential QB rather, coming out of the 2014 draft because, yeah, like I said, Whedon, done. So that's the Browns saying for the second time that they will never trust a Big 12 QB because Colt McCoy, he's holding the clipboard for Kaepernick, and then you've got Whedon, who Lord knows if he's even going to be a backup somewhere or a third string QB because this is really the end for him. I honestly believe that this is the end of an era for him. And of course, it started out bad for Whedon when you look at the first game when he got trapped under the American flag, his first game against the Eagles, and it just went downhill from there. You think he's like 5-15 as a starter, something ridiculous like that. I mean, it's just terrible. So obviously, you know who I'm picking in this, and it's the Chiefs. And yes, I'm on my soapbox. It's 12:30 in the morning. I don't care. Hey, it's been a long time since I've been on camera, so making up for lost time, folks. Next up, we have an AFC East matchup where we have the Miami Dolphins, who are the losers of 4 straight, going up against the New England Patriots, who took a bad loss to the Jets and discovered there is a new rule, or discovered a rule in the NFL handbook that cost them a game and got a penalty on them that led to them losing the game. The Miami Dolphins have regressed in a major way. Tannehill doesn't look like anything he did between weeks 1, 2, and 3 rather. That offensive line can't protect him for crap. Lamar Miller is not getting it done as a running back. Mike Wallace is dropping passes left and right, big money, and he's not playing like a big money receiver, almost a got rich and stopped trying kind of thing. Then you have the New England Patriots, who, like I said, are coming off of an ugly loss against the Jets. Yes, they got the Gronk back, but the Jets figured it out. Tom Brady was going to rely on him so heavily because that's really the only receiver that Tom Brady knows that he had in his offense last season. And, yep, Tom Brady, went to the well too much with him. Yeah, Gronk had it like 8 catches, 114 yards, something like that. But Brady was targeting him so much that the secondary figured it out, got a pick 6 out of it. And then on top of that, Tom Brady went, 50 straight games, 50 straight games. He was close to breaking Drew Brees' all-time record for most consecutive games with a touchdown pass. And he went 50 games of throwing at least one touchdown pass. He has gone 2 out of 3 games this season without throwing a touchdown pass because he didn't throw one against the Bengals. He obviously got a couple touchdown passes. He threw the game winner at least against the Saints. And then, of course, against the Jets, he didn't throw a touchdown pass. So in his last 3 games, he's gone into the goose egg column of not throwing a touchdown pass in 2 out of 3 games. So obviously, they've got some issues. The Patriots, and defensively, the Patriots are in a world of hurt. They don't have Vince Wilfork. He's done for the season. They don't have their best linebacker in Gerard Mayo. He's done for the season. Aqib Talib is banged up. So defensively, they have some major holes. And then, of course, offensively, Amendola is stating that he is ready to play in this game. Let's see how long he plays in this one. Because I'm already thinking third quarter he's going to there's going to be some injury that's going to happen to him. Like, this man has no luck when it comes to his health. But having said all that, I'm still picking the Patriots. The Patriots are at home in this game. They're at Foxborough. And I think, the way that Miami's been playing, this is what New England needs. They need a team that's playing worse than they are. And they're going to get it. So, Patriots. Next up, we have the Buffalo Bills who actually beat the aforementioned Miami Dolphins last week with Thaddeus Lewis of Duke University, who upset the number 14th ranked Virginia Tech Hokies. So there it is, folks. Maybe some good luck for Thaddeus Lewis. Or not. Buffalo is traveling to the Superdome, the Mercedes-Benz Superdome, to take on Drew Brees and the New Orleans Saints. The Saints are coming off of a bye week, and they're coming off of a nasty loss to the aforementioned New England Patriots. I'm giving this to the Saints because the Saints, 1, are at home, 2, they're at home, 3, they're at home. That team plays a hell of a lot different in that dome than they do in grass. And Buffalo's going to find this out the hard way. Now, granted, Buffalo has a defense that's pretty stout. I mean, Mario Williams is playing like the Mario Williams of old. You got potential defensive rookie of the year and Kiko Alonso playing extremely well. And like I said, Thaddeus Lewis is giving this team a shot in the arm offensively. He's playing very well in E.J. Manuel's absence. Unfortunately, they're going to go up against the likes of Drew Brees in that dome. And, Rob Ryan's defense, hey, that defense last season was the worst of all time, statistically. And they're playing extremely well. Matter of fact, they lead the league in time of possession offensively. So what do you think is getting ready to happen to Buffalo when they play a team that's so comfortable in the dome? Got to go with the Saints on this. So, next up, we have an NFC East matchup where we have the New York Giants coming off of a victory in the ugliest game in Monday Night Football history over the Minnesota Vikings, taking on the Philadelphia Eagles, who are coming off of a loss against the Dallas Cowboys, where they too played the ugliest game ever witnessed. A team that, the Eagles, that averaged over 440 yards of total offense, were held to 270, and they were held to 3 points against the Dallas Cowboys team that really wasn't lighting it all up outside of the Broncos game in a bad Rams team. This is a division matchup. Now, I gave the Giants their victory because I said they were going to get it because the Vikings were in a poorer state than they are. But if there's a team that has the Giants number, it's the Eagles. Like, I don't know it off the top of my head, but the Eagles have had the Giants number for quite a while. And I don't see that changing. And the thing is that Michael Vick will start in this game. So that's going to give that offense a shot in the arm. So that's going to give the Giants even more fits to figure out who to stop. Vick, LaShawn, Deshaun, hey, Riley Cooper. So now that Vick is back, that offense just opened up a little bit more. Obviously, they want to wash the stank of that game that they had against Dallas out of their mouths. Philly's at home. I like the Eagles. Sorry, Dad. Sorry, Johnny. Sorry, Harlan. Sorry, Jason. It is what it is. And by the way, the last few people I named, my little brother and my cousins. Next up, we have a matchup where I think this is the only matchup, actually one of two of the only matchups this week where both teams have above 500 records. I think Dallas and Detroit are the other two teams that are facing each other where each has a winning record. We have the New York Jets coming off of their victory against the New England Patriots at 4-3, going up against the Cincinnati Bengals, who have become a bit of road warriors, where they beat Detroit at Detroit. Now, the New York Jets are a bit of I wouldn't say an enigma, but they do have a pattern. You see, it's all contingent upon the play of Geno Smith. Of course, you look at the game against the Bucks, Geno Smith played well. You look at the game against the Bills, Geno Smith played well. You look at the game against the Falcons, Geno Smith played well. You look at the game against the Patriots, Geno Smith played well. Then you look at the game against games like against Tennessee, where he looked ugly. You look at games against the Patriots, where he looked ugly. You look at the game against the Steelers, he looked ugly. Now, why am I bringing all this up? Because if you notice, week 1, he played well, they won. Week 2, he played like crap, they lost. Week 3, he played well, they won. Week 4, crap, lost. Week 5, well, won. Week 6, crap, lost. Last week, he played well, and they won. So where do you think I'm going with this? This is week 8. So he already played well last week. And he's going to Cincinnati. And he's going up against a vicious front four. And he's going up against a Bengals defense that's pretty damn tough. And he's playing at Cincinnati. And it's week 8. This is his bad week, folks. Take the Bengals in this one. The Bengals are playing extremely well. Andy Dalton is proving naysayers wrong. He threw for 372 yards at Detroit. Giovanni Bernard, who is in the running for Offensive Rookie of the Year, he's playing well. They're finally figuring out how to get the ball to A.J. Green. Then, like I said, that defense with Geno Atkins, But the thing is they lost Leon Hall to an Achilles tear. But I still feel the Bengals will win this game because this is Geno's week to suck. So, Cincinnati Bengals. Next up, I didn't even mark this one, folks. We have the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are winners of 2 straight after beating Baltimore last week, taking on the Oakland Raiders coming off of a bye week. Now, the Pittsburgh Steelers, like I said, they've won 2 straight. And, of course, the media is like, hey, are they back? Can they make a playoff push? Slow your roll. Yes, they're playing a lot better, and I think a lot of it has to do with Le'Veon Bell. They finally have a running back that's actually able to move the chains to get yards. But they're going to Oakland, where the Steelers play some really crappy games. They don't play their best at the Black Hole. And then they're going up against Terrell Pryor, who is like top 15 in rushing. So they've got a scrambling QB. Now, of course, the last time we saw the Raiders play, they gave up 10 sacks and even had a legendary 3rd and 48 in this game against the Chiefs. But they've had a week off to lick their wounds, to get healthy, and to adjust their play calling. Like I said, the Steelers play like crap at the Black Hole. Terrell Pryor plays his best games at the Black Hole. I am saying this is my, I guess you can call it upset of the week. I am picking the Raiders in this one, folks. I like what Terrell Pryor is doing with Denarius Moore, and of course Marcel Reese is picking up the slack because of course Darren McFadden can't stay healthy for crap. What is it about Arkansas running backs that can't stay healthy? You've got Darren McFadden, you got Felix Jones and Peyton Hillis. These guys just can't stay healthy for shit. So the Raiders are at the Black Hole. The Steelers suck playing at the Black Hole. I'm picking the Raiders in an upset. Next up, we have a battle between 2 birds, where we have the Atlanta Falcons coming off of, were they on a bye? I think they were on a bye last week, if I'm not mistaken. But, obviously they're sitting at 1 and what? Yeah, they're sitting at 2-4 or 1. Yeah, 2-4. No, last week they played the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. My apologies. So they're sitting at 2-4. They're traveling to Glendale to take on the Arizona Cardinals, coming off of a very ugly loss to the Seattle Seahawks. Like I said, Battle of the Birds. Carson Palmer is known for at least donating a pair of interceptions to opposing defenses, and why they keep starting Rashard Mendenhall, I have no idea. When they need to give the rookie Andre Ellington more snaps, they should have did that. They should have done that rather against the Seahawks last week. But if they're sitting there thinking of starting Rashard Mendenhall, whose best years are definitely behind him, then they're in a world of hurt. Yes, they're at home, and give credit to the Cardinals defense, because without them, they would probably be sitting at 1-5 or 1-6, something nasty. But it's that defense that's keeping them in games, and it was the defense that was keeping them in the game against the Seahawks. But Carson Palmer just kept finding ways to jack it all up, and he's gonna do it again. The Falcons, yes, they're a mash unit. Roddy White's not gonna play in this game. Steven Jackson is questionable for this game. Of course, Julio Jones is done for the year. Matt Ryan is having to rely on Harry Douglas and a couple other no-namers a la Tom Brady. And, of course, Jacquizz Rodgers, trying to get him on track. But the thing is that I don't see this Cardinals defense, stopping Tony Gonzalez. And I think that's going to be the X factor. I'm giving it to the Falcons on the road. Next up, we have the Washington Redskins, who are coming off of a victory against the Chicago Bears, traveling to Mile High or Invesco Field, whatever they want to call it, against Peyton Manning and the Denver Broncos. Washington Redskins, like I said, they got their victory in a wild shootout over the Bears, 45-41. But in their only 2 victories of the season have come against teams that have had backup QBs. They beat the Raiders with Matt Flynn, who is now a Buffalo Bill for now, and they got their victory over the Chicago Bears, who had to bring in Caleb Haney after Jay Cutler got hurt. So, now you have a Redskins team that's traveling to Denver to take on the Broncos team that took their first loss of the season to the Indianapolis Colts. So you're getting ready to have a pissed-off Peyton and a pissed-off Broncos offense at home. And, of course, this is Mike Shanahan's homecoming because, as a Washington Redskins coach, formerly he was the Broncos head coach. So this is a bit of a homecoming for him. This is going to be the ugliest homecoming for him And of course, there should not be a Broncos fan booing him, because without him, two of those Super Bowl rings, their only two Super Bowl rings, would not be in Denver's possession. Yes, they had John Elway, but you got to remember John Elway took 3 losses in the Super Bowl as well. Shanahan, folks, Terrell Davis, folks, Neil Smith, folks, Rod Smith, Ed McCaffrey. You get where I'm going with this. But bad news for the Redskins is that they're coming to Denver to play a team that took an ugly loss, and they're going to take it out on Washington. It's not even going to be close. Brandon Merriweather's suspended for this game because he's a headhunter, and he's been a headhunting dumbass since he's been drafted. Broncos at home. I like them at home. Sunday night matchup, and of course, before the season started, this looked intriguing because of what happened at the end of the 2012 season, but this game looks to be horrid, and yeah. It's the Green Bay Packers taking on the Minnesota Vikings, who are coming off of a Monday night game that was very crappy, not only for their team, not only for their fans, but for every NFL fan in America. So you've got an NFC North matchup on Sunday Night Football. And Christian Ponder will get the start because Josh Freeman has a concussion. Convenient that he has a concussion after playing shitty in the Monday night game. Yeah, he only had 10 days to learn the playbook, but he set the NFL record for most overthrown passes. This is the same thing he was doing in Tampa Bay. He hasn't changed. He hasn't improved. This is not like Montana going to Kansas City. This is not like Favre going to Minnesota or the Jets or Alex Smith at Kansas City. This is Josh Freeman at his worst of what he's been for the last season and a half. For the last 2 seasons, rather. But now they're saying he has this concussion like days after the Giants game. I just think they're just covering his ass for how bad he played and how they realized that they shouldn't have put him out there so fast. Now Christian Ponder, who has to feel like that the Vikings have given up on him, gets to start against Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers. Oh, and of course, the big thing is that this is Greg Jennings returning to Lambeau. You got to remember, Greg Jennings left the Packers to take big money for the Vikings, to play for the Vikings. And of course, a lot of it was due to his dumbass sister making a lot of dumbass quotes and dumbass comments all over Twitter. So I just think Leslie Frazier just has it in for Greg Jennings, because I guarantee you Lambeau Field is going to give him the warmest of welcomes. But the Packers are just going to blow the Vikings out. Yes, it's a division game. Yeah, you're like, division games are tougher because every team knows each other in the division. But the Vikings defense sucks ass. The offense sucks ass. The Vikings just suck ass, and the Packers don't. Packers, folks. Finally, we have our Monday night matchup between 2 NFC West rivals, where we have the Seattle Seahawks coming off of their victory against the Arizona Cardinals, taking on the St. Louis Rams, who took it on the chin via the Carolina Panthers, and the fact that they lost their star QB, Sam Bradford, for the season doesn't bode well for the rest of their 2013 season. Kellen Clemens is going to get the start in this one, and man, baptism by fire. You're going to take on one of the most lethal defenses in the NFL. Seahawks, folks. Why would I pick against them unless they're playing my Niners? You just can't. You just can't pick against Seattle in this game. For one, they're going up against a backup QB and a crappy offense. That's the perfect medicine for them to go 7-1. So, there it is, folks. Those are my picks for Week 8. And like I said, it's early in the morning. That's why it's so dark in here. But you can see my face still. I'm not doing that whole, hey, I can see your teeth, and kiss my ass on that. But those are my picks, and good luck to everybody in your fantasy leagues, and I will see you in a couple days. Adrian Mason.